Mr. Birdie and members of the board, we do have 2 items for board discussion this evening. Mrs. Aug will be covering both of those items. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Mrs. Aug.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Birding, members of the board, I have 2 items for your consideration and discussion tonight. First, I want to talk about the addition of a technology fee for students in grades 6 through 8. The fee would be $40. This $40 fee is already assessed in grades 9 through 12 as part of the one-to-one device rollout. The fee covers a variety of things: hardware, software support, training, etc. When we approved fees last spring, we did not know we would be issuing devices to students in grades 6 through 8 this year due to the pandemic and the situation that we are in. So since students in grades 6 through 8 now have devices, we are recommending assessing the same $40 technology fee to students in grades 6 through 8. This fee would be assessed to any student in grades 6 through 8 who received a Fairfield device. So there might be a few exceptions to this. For example, if a parent opted out of the student receiving a device, or maybe it's a virtual student who's using their own personal device at home and did not receive a Fairfield device, but we think that'll be very few, and we'll work through those issues with those families, obviously. So I plan to put this on the next agenda for your approval. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have about the technology fee before I move on to my next item.
Any questions from Mrs. Aug? Okay, thank you.
My second item for tonight covers locally created graduation seals that are a part of the pathway to graduation for students in the class of 2023 and beyond. Starting with the graduating class of 2023, students will need to show competency in a certain way. So they can pass the Algebra 1 and ELA 2 state assessments, they can enlist in the military, they can complete college coursework, or demonstrate career readiness in a variety of ways. Beyond showing competency, they also have to show readiness by earning 2 diploma seals. So I gave you a handout tonight in your packet. So if you can just flip the whole thing over. We're on the second page of the second handout. There's a group of kids taking a selfie there. There are 12 seals. 9 of those are created by the state of Ohio and 3 are created locally. So obviously ODE created the guidelines for the state seals, and now FCSD has completed work on their 3 locally created seals, which are the Community Service Seal, the Fine and Performing Arts Seal, and the Student Engagement Seal. And just so you know, and so for anyone who might be watching, the ODE predetermined these seals. We didn't create these seals. We were just charged with creating criteria for students to earn those seals. So every district in the state of Ohio has to provide criteria for at least one of the locally created seals. So we're very lucky here in Fairfield to be a larger district, and we had the programming to outfit all of the locally created seals. So we are presenting criteria for all 3 of the locally created seals. For our students, they're only allowed to use one of the locally created seals. So one has to be, at least one has to be an Ohio seal, and then one can be a locally created seal if they so choose. So this work actually began late last spring and was led by Katie Postfischel from the curriculum department, Ryan Bellamy from the high school, and Emily Newton from the Fairfield freshman building. So this group of administrators met, they used ODE guidance, and they also asked for examples from other districts and talked to other districts about what they were planning to do in creating their own seals as well. So once those criteria were created, they were then shared with teachers who were supposed to be on the committee too. Remember, this was during shutdown, and so what they had planned to do didn't really work out that way. So they ended up kind of creating the framework, and then they shared it with the teachers. Then the teachers gave feedback to that core group, and this is where we landed today. So the proposed seal requirements are also in your packet. As you can see, students will have some options within each seal. So for example, if you look at the Fine and Performing Arts seal, students can participate in one school play or musical on or off stage, or document participation in an outside performance or recital, or they can earn 2 credits in Fine and Performing Arts. And you'll see, and for each seal, students have options, and that was really important to the committee to give our kids, options within each one of those seals. So when approved, this option would be available to students not only in the graduating class of 2023, but even in the interim, because they have created so much flexibility for students in the graduating classes of 2021 and 2022. They could use these seals as an option. We really don't anticipate many of them needing to use the seals because they've been on a graduation pathway for quite some time. But technically, they could use these seals as well in order to earn their diploma. So, are there any questions I can answer for you in regards to our locally created graduation seals?
Any questions from the board?
I guess my only question, and this may sound silly, do these seals replace the current expectations for graduation, or these are in addition to?
So they're not replacing current guidelines, but in 2023, this, the second handout actually kind of shows you what we're moving toward.
Okay.
So, right now, students have several different ways to meet the graduation requirements. But by 2023, we have to be prepared for them to first show that competency, and there are several options for them to show competency. And then the final step would be to earn
Seal.
2 of these seals.
Okay. Cool.
Any other questions? I do have one question. When can they start earning the seals? Does it have to be 9th grade and above?
As soon as they officially enter like their graduation cohort, so as soon as they enter 9th grade, they can start to earn credit toward.
Okay, so someone, say in Rhythm Express, cannot have their fine arts seal, it's got to be 9th grade or, okay.
Correct.
Great, and then I'm sure there's lots of documentation as far as what acceptable clubs, outside clubs are acceptable, and guidelines for parents to be able to follow, correct? Okay. All right, any other questions from the board? All right, well, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.